In this course, we'll discuss many topics, starting with the definition of VLOOKUP, then we'll read about VLOOKUP, then we'll read the technical details, then we'll solve few examples, then we'll read common problems, and so on. Before we start discussing all of these, I want you to open your computer, click on Excel 2016, and keep that open with you. As I teach this class, you can write down or type whatever I'm teaching it within Excel to take down notes and be more comfortable with Excel. If you don't have Excel 2016, use any version of Excel that you have installed with you. And while I'm doing some examples, you should also be able to do those examples simultaneously with me. So that is how we'll proceed in this course. I'm going to start with the definition of VLOOKUP function. So VLOOKUP is a function within Excel. It's a spreadsheet or a worksheet, and you can add few more worksheets if you want to create a workbook. Now each worksheet is allowed to use many functions. So the way to do that is you open a cell in Excel worksheet, type equal to, and then enter the name of the function. In this course, we are studying VLOOKUP function. So when we are doing VLOOKUP function, we should type equal to VLOOKUP. Okay. So that is how Excel works, which is using functions. Now use VLOOKUP function when you need to find things in a table or a range by row, which means if you have some data which you have entered in the Excel worksheet that you have opened, like you enter your name, then you enter your date of birth. You do that for your friends also. You enter your friends' names and you enter your friend's date of birth. Now you want to find out the date of birth of your friend by using only the name. You want to VLOOKUP or lookup. You want to find the name of your friend and his date of birth. Then we use VLOOKUP function. So like this example, I'll give one more example which is written here. As you can see on the screen, for example, look up an employee's last name by her employee number or find her phone number by looking up her last name, just like a telephone book. Which means if in the Excel that you have opened, if you had the employee's last name, the employee number, employee phone number also, then you can use VLOOKUP function to find the phone number of an employee using the last name only, like in a telephone book. So we normally use a mobile phone to find the names, correct? So when we're using mobile phone, we'll look up for the name, which letter is the name starting with. We'll type the name, and once we find the name, we'll get the phone number. Similarly, if we have the contact list within Excel, we can use the phone number we can find the phone number just by looking up the last name. If we have a spreadsheet with data of employee's last name, employee number, and phone number. So such tasks can be performed with VLOOKUP function. So this is the definition of VLOOKUP function. Proceeding, I'll start with a few explanations for what is VLOOKUP function, what are the other similar lookup functions. Alright. So one tip is try using the new XLOOKUP function, an improved version of VLOOKUP that works in any direction and returns exact matches by default, making it easier and more convenient to use than its predecessor. What this means is VLOOKUP is a vertical lookup, which means we search by one column and we get the output of another column data. So that is VLOOKUP. XLOOKUP function you can try in Excel. If you have the Excel open with you, you can type equal to XLOOKUP. If you get the new function in your Excel, then you can also click on find help about this function or what is this function about. Click on that and you can read about the function XLOOKUP function, which is an alternative or an improved version of VLOOKUP. So unlike VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP works in any direction, which means it doesn't have to be based on a column, but it can be based on a row also. Another alternative for VLOOKUP is HLOOKUP function, which is not in this presentation. So you can try writing equal to HLOOKUP within Excel. HLOOKUP is horizontal lookup. This function will only search based on rows and return the exact matches based on lookups within row. VLOOKUP is vertical lookup for lookup within columns. So XLOOKUP appears to be a function that works in any direction, which means either row or column. XLOOKUP will return exact matches by default. So that is an improved version of VLOOKUP. You can try using that also. Alright, use VLOOKUP when you need to find things in a table by range or table or range by row. That is, for example, if you type the data in different columns, column A, column B, column C, column D, column E and so on. Now you want to find out the values in column B based on the entries made within column A. So every row of column A you want to look up using VLOOKUP. So for example, look up a price of an automotive part by the part number. Let's say the part number is in column A and the prices are in column B for an automotive part. Alright. Now you search for the prices using the part number from column A using equal to VLOOKUP function, or find an employee name based on their employee ID. Column A, let's assume, is employee ID with many IDs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on in different rows. Column B is employee names, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, so on until many rows. Now you want to find out employee names based on employee ID. So you type equal to VLOOKUP in any other column like column F, F1, cell F1, you type equal to VLOOKUP and you search for employee name based on employee ID. Alright, now we'll proceed with the technical details, which is an explanation of syntax on how to use VLOOKUP. Then this will be much more clear for you about how to proceed and how to enter the formula to make sure that you get a result which is error free. So there will not be any errors and you will get the exact entries that you are looking for within the table or range.